Good morning, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you've had a beautiful week so far. And in today's reading video, we are going to be channeling a collective energy updates for our beautiful collective here on YouTube. I would love to hear from you in the comments under this video. I would love if you could share with me or with our community how you've been feeling so far this week, especially because, and I'm sure we'll get into this later in the reading, but I did feel a very intense wave of energy moving through our collective, especially yesterday and the last few days as of when I'm posting this reading. It's almost felt like for some this would be like coming up against a wall emotionally or being in some type of a fog. And personally, the way that I processed or felt this energy was I had been going about my day, kind of doing my thing, and then when this energy hit, it's almost like it just told me to stop. It's like you can't go any further. You have to just take time to rest, take time to integrate some of what's been shifting and changing. And I know that many of you have been feeling this as well at certain points recently. A lot of inspiration, a lot of creative energy, which we talked about that in the last reading, especially with the divine feminines opening up the sacral chakra, which is the seat not only of connectedness in terms of physical connection and relationship with other beings, but also our ability to create. It's like the womb of our being, the creation space of our being, especially as divine feminines. However, I also spoke about in the last reading, this very inspired, very creative kind of energy either has a tendency to make you feel burnt out at times, or to just feel all of the sudden as though you're coming up against some kind of a wall. For some reason, I heard writer's block. So someone I'm listening to might specifically be a writer, and you might find that it's difficult to channel that creative energy into your writing, into your words sometimes, even though you're feeling really inspired. But of course, that will only apply with a few people listening. The number 326 came out for someone. This also could indicate March birthday energy or Pisces energy. I'm also seeing a unicorn for someone for some reason, so that might be symbolic to you in some way. Do keep in mind, though, I do channel many different specific words, names, images, numbers, details throughout these readings to allow individuals to connect in a personal way. But of course, these reading details will only connect with specific people. Now, if you would like me to channel more specifically for you and your current situation in love or life, then be sure that you are subscribed to this channel, because by subscribing, this does allow me to pick up more easily on your energy and channel more specific details for you and your current life situations. Now, with door to personal healing and happiness in the reversed position, the feeling I'm getting from this card is someone who's just been feeling very mixed up, very overwhelmed. I'm hearing foggy-headed or feeling emotionally foggy at times, as though you can't really sort through to find clarity about how you're feeling about a particular thing. So what is going on with this person? Feeling overwhelmed, I'm hearing split energy. So you might be feeling very divided, very pulled in two different directions. Right before starting this reading, I kept getting the image of someone who felt as though they were being pushed to make a choice. between two different options or things. These could be two different connections in your life, two different potential life paths. And what I get is these two potentials represent two different timelines for you, for whoever I'm speaking to here, because I know this won't necessarily connect with everyone. But what I'm getting is the reason you are feeling so conflicted, if this message is for you, is because you're feeling the pull of two different potential timelines. And it's almost like you in this moment are at this kind of timeline splitting point in your life where you have this kind of fork in the road. You are, because you're very intuitive, you're feeling the pull of each of these timelines in a very powerful way, meaning you can see a future in either of these situations and you can feel that future with so much emotion. It's almost as though it's already happened or is already happening. And this is for many reasons. There's so much I could say about this. Wow, this is a very complex reading or point in the reading for whoever I'm speaking to here. So no wonder you're feeling a lot of conflicted energy, because what you're dealing with is very outside of our linear concept of time. Because basically, when you're feeling these emotions of being conflicted, being pulled in two different directions, you are intuitively seeing into both of those timelines. And I feel that in different ways, there's really no wrong choice here or bad choice here. I feel that both of these timelines could be very fulfilling for you in different ways. Again, whether it's two different connections, people, life paths, careers. And that's part of why it's making it so conflicting for you, because there's no obvious choice. There's no clear choice. But again, because you are someone who is so intuitive, it's very difficult. I'm getting indecisive. You might actually be someone who at times struggles to make decisions, who is indecisive, and you might be hard on yourself for being indecisive. But the reason whoever I'm speaking to is this way is not because there's something wrong with you, but actually because you are intuitive and empathic and energetically sensitive to a greater degree. So what happens is whenever you're presented with a choice, even a choice that seems small to other people, you are actually unconsciously seeing now the splitting of timelines. You're seeing the potential choices you could make, and it's almost like your mind is kind of playing out those different potential timelines that this choice could lead you on or lead you away from. So whereas many people live dominantly in the present, they're able to make a choice based on how they feel in the moment. It's much more difficult for you to tap into those present moment feelings because you are so intuitive when it comes to your past, your future. You're kind of feeling everything at once. Because of course, time doesn't really exist from an energetic perspective. So when you are someone who is receptive to energy, you are capable of feeling the past, feeling what we think of as the present, and feeling all future potentials simultaneously in your being. This is why empaths can find it difficult to be around artifacts, old objects, antique stores, because they're picking up on the energy from past timelines that are connected with those objects. But you, whoever I'm speaking to here, it's almost like every decision you're presented with creates some of that same overwhelm, except instead of sensing the past of a certain decision, a certain object, a certain thing, you are sensing potential futures. And this is creating a lot of feelings of stalling, stuckness, fogginess, so to speak. So I don't know who that was for, but I do hope that message reached you, whoever I'm speaking to here. And just because I'm really curious about this energy, I do want to know, what are these two options, generally speaking? Let's start with the first path or the first option you are looking at here. what is this first option? Let's pull some cards for you. Goddess of the Moon uprights. I'm hearing independence. I'm hearing stepping out for yourself in some way. The first option is something that would require you to really set yourself apart from other people. I feel also that choosing this option would actually make certain other people disagree with you or go against you. If you were to choose this first option, you would have to stand very strong on your own. I feel this is an option made from a space of connecting with your core values as a soul. But I'm getting some loneliness from this as well. I feel that inherently within this option would come some sense of needing to really rely upon yourself, because again, there will be people, even people you care about, that if you choose this first option, and you already are aware of this, if you choose this first option, there will be people that will not understand your choice to take this path. And that is why if you do choose this option, it is really essential for you to tap in fully with your inner worth, with your inner values. You're really going to have to go within yourself, because with door to value reversed, you aren't going to be able to find validation for this choice or decision outside of yourself. And this is going to be a bit challenging for you. So I will be channeling in the extended more details for whoever I'm connecting with here. We'll go more deeply into specifically what these so-called different life paths, different choices might look like for you personally, what would happen if you were to take these different choices. But I just want to give you a broad scope overview. So what is this second choice or this second option coming up here? Let's pull a few cards to give you an overview for this so-called second option. Appreciation uprights. Choosing to be loved, choosing to be more materially supported in the present moment. I feel like this second choice is most likely the one that if you were someone who couldn't sense these potential timelines, if you were fully living in the present, just doing what felt right to you in the moment, I'm hearing the less scary option, but the one that feels better in the moment, you would probably choose the second option. If this is between two people, which I know it won't be for all of you, so only take that if it connects, but this second person would be someone who you are really enjoying connecting with in the present. You might not have as much of a past with this person. It could be, I'm getting that if it's a career or a job, this is something that you feel more sure about, that doesn't require you to take such a courageous leap of faith, where you know that you already feel very confident that you can succeed in whatever this second thing is. But I also feel it doesn't push you as much to need to expand into more. I also feel that if you were to ask the people around you for advice, they would probably advise you to choose this second option. But within this option comes a bit of its own conflict that's just a bit more hidden, with storm warning upright. Although I feel that, again, either path will lead to positive outcomes, choosing this second option, I feel, will bring up feelings of internal conflict within yourself, because you will always, in a sense, be wondering, what if I had chosen that first option? What if I had chosen the option that required me to really set out for myself, to really push myself, to really expand myself? So again, I will be getting more in depth with these two potential options, timelines for whoever I'm connecting with here, and more information on them, as well as what you might be able to expect were you to choose either path or either option. So that will all be in the extended version of this reading, which is on our beautiful Soul Tribe community on Patreon. So all of that information is linked in the pinned comments and description box under this video. Okay, so now I want to speak more to some of those really emotionally charged feelings coming up the last few days. I'm especially feeling this will connect with divine feminines listening here. Although, of course, these labels, masculine and feminine, do not necessarily apply to gender and can be reversed in some cases depending on how strongly you are connecting with your inner divine masculine or inner divine feminine at a certain point in time. So I want to know what was coming up or is coming up for the divine feminine with these emotions, these very powerful emotions that have been surfacing. What do we need to know about this? Blossoming abundance reversed. I'm hearing questioning certain things, questioning. These might be choices that you've made, so some of your own past choices or decisions, questioning if you're going down the right path. I'm hearing questioning if I'm losing my mind. Now, specifically with some divine feminine, this won't be for everyone, but if you're on a twin flame path, I feel a divine feminine saying, am I going crazy along this twin flame journey? There's just a lot of doubt. A lot of feelings of, I just wish that, or at certain points in time, I just wish that I could be quote unquote normal, or that I had never started down this path to begin with. And okay, so I'm laughing because the exact two cards that I used to represent the first timeline potential option for whoever I was speaking to here came out when I was talking about your twin flame. So very clearly, if you are dealing with a twin flame situation, that first option, that first path for you is this twin flame path. And actually, I'm hearing this message come through on a higher self soul level, which is you as a soul were presented with those same options. You've just forgotten because we all experience amnesia when we incarnate into these physical bodies. But I'm tearing up because this is so emotional. But you, divine feminine, as a soul, prior to incarnating here on earth, were deciding what life path you were going to choose as your soul's blueprint. Now, of course, that's not to say we don't have options or choices. We do, of course. We have free will in this life after we incarnate. But I see that you wanted, as a soul, very rapid and accelerated soul growth. You basically said, give me the most difficult path, because although it would be the most challenging, it would also be the most breathtaking, the most exhilarating, the most beautiful, and the most expansive. And you knew as a soul that it would not be easy to make these choices. And I almost feel that if you're a twin flame, those two options we were speaking about earlier could be choosing to continue consciously connecting and interacting more with your twin flame, having that be a dominant feature or facet of your life. I'm careful with the words I'm choosing here because, of course, once you've been awakened, once you've gone through a twin flame awakening, you are always going to feel consciously your counterpart's soul pulling at you, and you're always going to sense them within you, because really you've sensed it all along, because that is the path you chose as a soul. You chose to incarnate with your counterpart, each of you carrying these dominant polarities that would pull you together very intensely. However, I feel as though you are being given a choice as to what you want this path to look like. And again, there's no wrong choice here. I'm getting that you are being given an option as to whether you are going to connect more in the physical with the physical form of your twin flame, or whether you are going to move forward potentially on your own, more independently, with possibly some other more present, available form of high vibrational soul connection for some people listening. But I'm hearing this higher self message of all paths lead home, all paths lead home. Ultimately, you and this other soul are so deeply connected that I don't want to say it doesn't matter what path you choose, because everything, of course, that we do matters. But I feel that in the grand scheme of things, from a really higher self perspective, the expansion is going to happen regardless, because you've already been awakened through this connection. That energy is moving through both of you. And actually what I'm getting with man holding a coin upright, this speaks to a masculine awakening, but with angel of balance reversed, still being pretty unbalanced when it comes to adjusting himself to this newfound state of awakening. And actually in general, I feel whoever I'm speaking to here, I did not mean for this to be just like exclusively a twin flame reading, but that energy is coming through so strongly for someone here. I feel this divine masculine in pain, because what he is saying is, I intended to rise to meet you, but I got mixed up along the way. I got unbalanced along the way in this physical lifetime. And I know now that in this physical world, I'm exhibiting these signs of imbalance. I almost feel as though this masculine soul is not fully adjusted to his physical form, which I know sounds odd, but it's like he came in with all of these very powerful soul intentions, and he is a very powerful spiritual being, but I feel his soul wasn't fully prepared for the density, for the heaviness of specifically karmic patterns he may have taken on within his family's line, within his early life. I feel that many of these patterns weighted him down more than he expected them to as a soul. And it's like his higher self is almost expressing this pain here of being so mixed up, of having gotten so turned around in this physical lifetime, because there's such an intense, strong desire to be together with you, Divine Feminine, but also an awareness of this imbalance within him. Wow, very, very intense messages coming through. So for whoever I'm connecting with here, if you are a Divine Feminine listening and this sounds like your Divine Masculine counterpart coming through, then in the extended version of the reading on Patreon, I will be channeling more messages from this Divine Masculine's higher self, what he's consciously thinking and feeling in the 3D physical world, what he wants to say, more information on this situation of potential imbalance within him. So all of that information is in the Patreon reading, which is linked in the pinned comments and description box under this video. But whatever he has to say, he's definitely feeling very disjointed. He's losing sleep specifically over this, with rest and rejuvenation reversed. And I'm actually getting that this masculine losing sleep, I keep hearing irregular sleep patterns. This may have actually been affecting you recently, Divine Feminine, as well. You may have found yourself having difficulty sleeping at times, waking up randomly in the middle of the night because of his energy. I'm also getting almost these heart palpitation feelings, or like a heart skipping a beat feeling, which of course I always say to explore medical causes of these physical sensations first. But outside of those potential medical causes, this can also indicate heart chakra energy shifting. And I feel that in this case, it could indicate the masculine quite literally pulling on your heart, Divine Feminine. So in that extended reading, we will get higher self-love messages from the masculine, as well as higher self messages from the Divine Feminine here to the Divine Masculine as well. And the link to all of that is under this video. But for now, I did pull the card, the Cloak of Christ from the Rumi Oracle, and I really want to close this reading by sharing a bit from the guidebook for this card. Also, this is the number 4 card, and I'm getting that many of you may have been seeing a lot of the number 444. Also, the number 144 can represent the 144,000, which is, metaphorically speaking, the choice your soul made to be one of the chosen ones, in the sense that you would be on the forefront of shifting, I'm hearing shifting the heart of the collective through unconditional love, through going through very dense, very intense circumstances that would really disconnect you from that unconditionally loving frequency, specifically when it came to loving yourself, so that you could carve away back again, back home to yourself, back to your own sense of self-love that then radiates outward as unconditional love for everyone and everything as well. And in carving this path back home, you would be forging a new path for the collective that others could follow more easily. So let's go ahead and read some from this card. In the school of humanity, when you become intimate with God, you reside on the King's throne and teach the angels the nature of the divine. And the guidebook also says, you are tired, beloved, which is very synchronistic because I did feel a lot of feelings of emotionality leading to exhaustion, especially for many divine feminines listening. Your soul has been ravaged, inside and out, and you are succumbing to struggle that is not karmic or necessary, but a symptom of fatigue and weariness of heart, mind, body, and soul. That which plagues you, whether something specific or a general nagging malaise or anxiety you cannot pin down, is not as powerful as you fear. You are being given a grace here and now that it may be overcome. Remember, your reactions are a symptom of your exhaustion and a sign that you need respite, sanctuary, restoration. They are not a sign that something must be done, as much as a sign that something must be received, allowed. Wow, what a beautiful place to close this first reading here on YouTube. If you would now like to head over with me to the extended version of this reading, the link to that is in the pinned comment and description box under the video. Otherwise, I am wishing you the most beautiful, wonderful rest of your week and weekend, and I will talk to you again in the next reading.